So good morning everyone. I'm Peer Mohammed. Now we'll be seeing about basics of C programming. Now we'll see the basic structure of C programming. The first is preprocessor directives. Preprocessor directives are commands that instruct the compiler to preprocess the source code before the actual compilation begins. So when you see, for example, hash include, the hash include is a preprocessor directive which which is used for the giving instruction to the compiler to convert the source code. So commonly there are many preprocessor directives. For example, you can see the example here hash include stdio.h and hash defined. So we can define any values. That is, we have a defined value for p pi 3.14. So next, in the basic structure of C programming, we'll be seeing about the main function. So every program starts with the main function, which is an entry point. So without a main function, we cannot run or execute a program. So next, there are in main function, we'll be declaring the main function with the integer type, and we can have parameters like arguments C and arguments V. So below that, we can see the example, which is integer main, and we can give the statements. Statements are like a printf, scanf statement. For example, if there is any formula, the formula can be given in the statement, and at last we'll be finishing the program with the return statement. So next we can see the variable declarations. So the variable declaration, we must declare the variables, and variable declaration is we need to give the data types before any variable. So for example, integer is a data type and x is a variable, and below that there we have defined declared a float, and the variable is y, and we have declared and defined a value for y, that is 3.5. So there are many data types which can be used here. So before declaration of any variables, there must be a data type which should be given before any variable, and a number of variables can be declared. So next you will be seeing the statements and expressions. So statements are nothing but we will be giving any formulas or any values which is to be defined. So in above that you can see the variable, which is just we have given integer x, but below in the statement and expression we'll be seeing a value for the x, and below that you can see y is equal to y plus 1.5. So y plus is a statement, so we can give, for example, if you're adding two numbers, there must be three variables. So for example, a b c, or those three are the variable one. A is variable one, and b is variable two, and c is variable three. So c is equal to a plus b. This is a statement. So we'll be storing the value in c. So for a, let's take a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 5. So 5 plus 5 will be 10. So the value 10 will be, the answer 10 will be stored in the variable c. So next we'll be seeing the function definitions. So in function definitions, integer add is a function name. So within parentheses we have declared a argument parameters, that is integer a and integer b. So for integer a we have declared a value 5, for integer b we have declared value 3. So as I said earlier, we have declared three variables here. One is result and the other one is a and b. So the value 5 for a and value 3 for b will be added, and the value will be, and the result of the value will be stored in the variable result. So this is a function. So integer add within parameters integer a and integer b. This is a function prototype, and we have defined the functions, and we have declared the values for the prototypes inside the function. So below that, integer add, integer a, integer b. So those a and b are the parameters. In return, we are adding a plus b. So a plus b is already we have declared a value for a and b, which is 5 and 3. So 5 plus 3, the result 8 will be stored in the variable result. So next we will be seeing the standard library functions. So the commonly used library functions are stdio, standard input output dot h, and standard library and string. So uh, In standard input and output functions, it's mostly basically it is used for printf and for scanf statements, and string maximum for using any strings will be using the head of file, and dot h is you mentioned as header. So this is a basic structure of C program. This is example. So you can see hash include stdio.h is a preprocessor directive. Below that we have defined a value for pi, and inside the main function we have declared two variables. One is in x, so which is an integer type, and other one is y, which is of float type. So we have given value for x, which is equal to 10, and below that you can see y is equal to y plus 1.5. So already we have declared float value y is 3.5, so we need to add 3.5 plus 1.5. The value will be stored in the variable y. So now there is another variable which is integer result. So the result will be of an integer type, and the function name is add. So I will be adding the value for a and b, which is 5 and 3, and the value will be stored in the result variable. So next to that is explanation for all these what is preprocessor directives, which is hash define and hash include, and other one is the main function, in which the variable statements and expressions has been declared. Without the main function we cannot run or execute the program. And other next one is variable declarations. Inside the main function, variables are declared, and it is optional to and optionally, and it is initialized. Initialization is not compulsory, so it is optional. So next will be see the constants in C. So there are literal constant. So constant variables are declared using the constant keyword. So for example, max equal to 100, the value which cannot be changed. So likewise below that we have a float pi value is 3.14, which we cannot be changed. So these are known as constant values. Once a value is declared and defined, it cannot be changed at any time. So next is derived data types: arrays, pointers, structures, and unions. Array is a collection of elements which is of same type. Pointer is a variable which is used to store address of the variable. And next is integer numbers. An example, you can see the pointer is declared with the asterisk symbol, and next after the asterisk symbol we have a pointer name which is a ptr. So likewise we have a union, and other next we'll be initializing the variables. How to initialize a value for the variables. So in the example there are two types of initialization. One is static and one is dynamic. Static and global variables automatically initialized, so that is 0. So it initializes 0 if it is static initialization. So in static variables if a static initialization. Dynamic initialization is automatic variables are not automatically initialized, contain garbage values if it is not explicitly initialized. So if the value is not explicitly initialized, it gives a garbage value. And below that you can see the dynamic initialization, which is an integer local variable is equal to 10, and even if we need to change the value for local variable, and we can be changed, but in static initialization the values cannot be changed. Thank you. So this is basic structure of C program, and we have seen the variables, constants, and other data types which has been used in the C programming. Thank you.